Hey everyone, it's Aaron from Imperfect Impulses. I wanted to do an art journal flip with you. As many of you who've seen my videos know, I use an altered book. The book I have, this is my primary art journal. It's Mary Higgins' Collage, Just Take My Heart. I kind of love the title, so I figured it was pretty fitting for an art journal. I started my art journal in the middle of the book. I did not want it to be chronological. I wanted it to be very scattered. Art journaling tends to be very kind of eclectic, and so I didn't like the idea of having my art journal be chronological. So, as I said, I started it in the middle. There are a lot of pages in this book that are blank still, and there are a lot of pages in this book that I've started and have not finished. So keep that in mind as you look. Some of them are hideous and some of them are okay. So at any rate, this page is the beginning of a page. I wasn't really sure. I was just playing around with acrylics when I first started playing with acrylics. I believe I used corrugated cardboard to create the lined pattern. I'll end up throwing some more gesso over this, probably some more stamps, and using whatever still shows through of the lines for an art journaling spot. So there's that. This page, actually my 4-year-old son helped me make. We just smeared some of the paint, globbed it onto a gessoed page, and closed the book shut, smushed it flat, opened it back up. There you had it. I added some of the border stamps. This is some of the drywall tape. Used archival ink in black to create the pattern. Again, more of the border stamps, and this is the extreme glitter acrylic paint, that I used with a felt piece that I got from Michael's. They're in the $1.50 section right as you go to checkout. You can find all kinds of little felt things, and you dip them in paint, use them as stamps. So they're really great. They do double duty. As you can see, it's stuck. That's okay. I'll end up journaling or covering up somehow. This is one of my least favorite pages in the entire book. I was just wanting to play with masking tape. I had the base paints down. Decided to go back over with the pink. I'll end up throwing some more stencils or something over this, or maybe just gessoing the whole thing. I don't know. We'll see. This one I was playing with distress inks, just inking, and as you can see, using border punches. That's an EK Success border punch. I haven't finished that one yet. That's okay. This one, I just was playing around with a homemade stencil I made using my Cricut. I have a class coming up in August of 2012 for stencil making using any die cutting machine that you currently own. So once that class is over, I'll be putting up a video on YouTube for the way I found is the easiest to make stencils. So just a gessoed page, used a credit card. If you can't tell, I love spray inks, but they tend to bleed through the pages. So this is a page I've just barely started. It's got a lot of layers of, it first had gesso, then a lot of layers of color wash, the Ranger color wash. Then I used this as black dilutions with, again, a homemade stencil. I started some journaling. It didn't come out very well, so I'll probably end up gessoing or something over that. This is a page I made again using the color wash, and I ended up using the Stays On Cotton White with a stamp from Viva Las Vegas Stamps, and it's barbed wire. So it's pretty cool. I'll put the link up for Viva Las Vegas Stamps. They have some awesome stamps. This is a page I made with my son, again, 4-year-old son. This is the Tim Holtz Slight Alteration stamp from Stampers Anonymous. My son's handprints, and I just put a couple of boy sayings in his handprints, and then just wrote just me and the boy. And I believe the background was watercolor over here, and I think that was watercolor as well. This is, I believe, distress ink, maybe with a little bit of dilutions. Some bleed through. some stuck pages. This is distressing. This is in crushed olive right here. The purple is the seedless preserves from the fall line. This is, I want to say broken china. And then I think this is gathered twigs. And then I used timber brown stays on to stamp the background design. Did a little bit of drippage with water and little background stamping. And then I'm a huge fan of Gautier, so I could not get that song out of my head. Somebody that I used to know, and so I just put the lyrics there because it was stuck in my head and I have not yet finished the page, but it's there, and that's okay. I can already tell you this is Dilutions because they're so very vibrant. I was just playing around with the colors, wanted to see what kind of effects I could get with them. This was a page I used. I'm not a fan of the red Dilution color. It is the Postbox Red. Not a fan of that color, so I gessoed over it. I'm going to end up doing something, but I just did a real quick cover of gesso so that way some of it pops through. Let's see what else we have. Bleed Through. This is a page I made. It says time stops for no man. Sorry you can't read that. There's a little bit of a glare. There we go. Time stops for no man. This is a Crafter's Workshop stencil. I just used part of it to pounce some gold paints through. Then I used a little bit of, I believe that's Perfect Pearls in cappuccino or espresso, one of those coffee ones. This is another one of my least favorite pages. It's got a lot of texture because it's got rock candy, distress, something, crackle paint. But it flakes a lot and very easily. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'll probably end up gessoing over the whole thing. This page I really liked. It came out kind of funky. It says, I am more than the sum of my parts. And if you can see here, there is a keyhole. And that was the negative of a die cut, a Tim Holtz die. And I used the negative chipboard, put it down after I had dilutioned the background page, put down some, this is a duct tape, no not duct tape, drywall tape. And sprayed dilutions, put down a layer of gel medium, then scrunched up some tissue paper. So that's how that page was made. And if you can see a little bit back here, there's some journaling peeking through. So I did write my thoughts down, and this tells me what I said. So I'm a big fan of hiding stuff that way. Bleed Through. This page was made using a ton of my homemade stencils. The wavy checker stencil, the star stencil. I think there's another couple stencils. This is the negative of the star stencil. And this was all made using dilutions on a non-gessoed page. And then I threw a little bit of gesso over the top. And the shimmer you're seeing, hopefully, is fusible fibers. And then I Mod Podged them down. Really gave it a cool effect and an awesome texture. This page was made with clear gesso. And then over the top of the clear gesso was crushed olive distress ink. I love that color. And I believe that is either Broken China or the new Salty Ocean. I'm not sure which one that is because I ended up blending it with pumice stone and then walnut ink a little bit, walnut stain around the edges. Again, another stencil, the negative, one that I had made on my Cricut. This is another dilutions page. This is a stencil I got from Hobby Lobby. This is all made using plastic fencing, essentially, from Lowe's. That's one of my favorite stencils. And again, those are all dilutions. More stencils, testing them out. This is all gesso and color wash, and then a little bit of pearl acrylic over the top to give it that sheen. This page many of you might have seen before. This is my Le Freak C'est Chic page. She was a collage from the magazine, and I ended up painting all of her makeup on with acrylic. Page is stuck together. That's the beginning of a page with just some acrylic and some of that drywall tape. A lot of my pages stick together. This is a page I made with acrylic, and I just wanted it super shiny, so I used the extreme glitter over the top. Not everything in life needs a purpose, some things just are. Because I found this page very random, that's why I put that phrase. Some bleed through from the from the paints. This was my attempt at watercoloring. I got a really cool sunset background and tried to do some mountains and with the espresso paint daubers, and did not come out very well, but then it ended up sticking anyways, so this will become a background for something. You've all seen this video on my YouTube channel. It's also available on my blog, so I really like how this one came out. It's nice and sturdy. So some bleed through from this page. This page was made using a homemade stencil on my Cricut, and I stenciled inside. This is all gesso, the dots, through a grill topper from the dollar store, and then I used the Stardust pens from, who makes those? Sakura, the jelly roll. I was using my Spellbinders to spray through. Spellbinders dies from, not Teresa Collins. What's her name? I will remember this. At any rate. Spellbinders. I know she's the one who makes the Distress Inks, INKZ, or not Distress, Mixed Media, sorry. It's late. This is the bingo page I've made and put on YouTube. Not one of my favorites, but it's still cool. It's a nice way of including ephemera. You know, it tells me where we were, Aliante Station in Las Vegas. We won. My wife won. I was working on calligraphy. It did not work out so well. Well, not really calligraphy, but using a calligraphic pen. I also used a little bit of Uti, and it didn't really work so well because they were very detailed stamps. Tried to do a resist. This is another stencil I've made. This is a page I made about Lady Gaga, because if you've seen any of my videos by now, you know I'm a huge fan. So the dress was the idea for the colors on the page. Just a bunch of acrylics, and I used some stamping in the background, my tiny attacher, just to create kind of a border. This is clear gesso, more distress inks, broken china, crushed olive, my favorite color combination, and then I used a little bit of color wash over the top. This is not a finished page. I'm not happy with it, so yeah, it's okay if you hate it too. This is a text page that I used to test a Crafter's Workshop stencil. I just stuck it in here because I'll end up adhering it somehow. One of the girls at one of our classes, my good friend Dee, had a stencil. She was cleaning one of my stencils and put it down on the craft sheet on here, and I said, wait, don't wipe that up. She's getting ready to wipe it up and stuck my book down on it. Figured it was a good start. Yet another Gaga page. It says Lady Gaga because nothing says freedom like fireworks shooting from your titties. It was my 4th of July page. See? Red, white, and blue. So, yeah. That's my If I Could Turn Back Time page. That was from my 29th birthday in May. It's a ton of acrylics, some molding paste mixed with acrylic paints. Everything's backwards. If I could turn back time. So that's why it's hard to read. It was intentional. A lot of these are just stencils or picking up color from other pages. This is a really cool page that I made using dilutions and some distress inks, mostly dilutions. This is the new Picked Raspberry from Tim Holtz Distress Inks. And then a friend of mine, her daughter makes awesome quilling things, so she gave me that cool peacock and it fit perfectly with that page. This was my birthday card from my wife. One of my favorite birthday cards she's ever given me because I love leather and studs and spikes, and I like freaking people out and scaring them with my spikes and studs and leather, and then they realize I'm a very nice guy. The other day we went to Michael's and there was a lady who was coming down the aisle and there was not enough room for both of us to pass, so I stepped aside in the aisle for her to pass, and I was wearing a dog collar with 2-inch spikes on it and spikes on my, I have a bracelet with 1-inch spikes and 1/2-inch spikes, and my sunglasses have spikes on them, and so people always get really weirded out by me when they see me, and as soon as she saw that I was stepping aside and smiling, she smiled and said, "Thank you, sir." So I like freaking people out. Anyways, she was a collage element from a magazine. Acrylic paints, just hand doodles. This was a paper napkin. My smartass comments, insert art here, insert inspirational phrase here. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with this page, but it's here. It's queer, get used to it. This page sticks together a little bit. This page is inspired by, surprise, Lady Gaga. I've had enough. This is my prayer that I'll die living just as free as my hair. It's one of her songs, Hair, from her new album, and if you have not heard it acoustic, it is one of the best acoustic songs ever. I'm not a huge fan of it on the album, but acoustically it's fabulous. Watercolor, just playing around. Playing around with ink tints, blocks, and watercolor, and a little bit of oil pastels in the peacock. So, again, just a lot of my art journals, just playing around and testing things. This is my I Am Okay Without You page. This is all about my feelings on religion. I come from a very religious family, and I am very not. I'm okay with them being religious. I'm just wanted to put in here that I am okay without that. I am still a good person, and I try to be as nice as I can. Like I said, I stepped aside for the lady, and I hold doors for people, and I say please and thank you, but I still swear like a sailor, so I guess maybe I'm not too good of a person. At any rate, so we're almost done. This is only I can see the world through my eyes. I sketched that eye out using just a pencil and then went over it in pen and watercolored the whole thing. I love that you can still see the book text through all the watercolor. And I think that might be it for this one. A couple other ones. These are my displayed journals for the store for when I do classes. And this one, she was a collage element I painted over her from a magazine. It says, of course they're real expensive. I made her lips super fake and her breasts super big. And this says, strive for imperfection and you'll never fail. Because that's what I'm all about, imperfect. Speaking of imperfect, only an imperfect heart is capable of love. Acrylics and dilutions. All three of these pages were made using dilutions in combination with acrylics. The heart was acrylic though. This is vinyl lettering cut out from my Cricut with alcohol ink over the top and then adhered down. And then last but not least, there's only 2 pages in this book, so this will be quick. I was just playing around with acrylics. This is a cheap notebook from Target a friend of mine gave me. And it says, don't do it if you don't love it. Just wanted to be really sketchy and didn't want it to be perfect. And then there's only one more page in this that's done and I can never find it. Ah, there it is. It always sticks. If your art journal sticks, by the way, go slowly when you pull it open. This one isn't done yet, but it was done using, I want to say this is like a peony pink. And then this is a shiny gloss white acrylic. These are both acrylics. And then the black, I used India ink to outline the white circles. And sprayed the whole thing with water, and it just smeared everywhere. Came out really cool. The colors are much more vibrant in person. So that is what I have to show for you so far. Hope you enjoy it, and stay tuned for more videos. Talk to you soon. Bye.